Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome in on a wonderful Wednesday, the day after the merger. All the ramifications and the rumblings that are still going on with that. And we hope at 10:15, the general chairman of the FedEx St. Jude Invitational, the first playoff round this year of the FedEx Cup, we hope that he will be with us. If not today, it'll be tomorrow. He's having a little procedure done today. It was early, so it's 50-50 that we'll get him. But if we don't do that today, we'll get him tomorrow. Pete Pranica will join us because guess what resumes tonight? Game 3, Miami, Denver. J-Mo, is it my imagination? This is like the longest drawn-out championship series. It used to be like every other day, wasn't it? Now, you got the last one was on Sunday, correct?
Sure was.
We had to wait till Wednesday. Then we got Friday. You would think they go right to Sunday, but they're not playing again until Monday. Are they trying to get this into July? What's the deal?
Yeah, well, if they're trying to get it in July, they're doing a really good job of it now. It'll end about mid-June, but this is going on a few years now. They've done it like this. I don't care for it either, quite frankly. 2 days in between home games, 3 days in between travel days. It's just not my favorite. Meanwhile, the Stanley Cup seems to get it. Well, they're taking more time now, too.
Here's what I think. So tonight, game 3 of the NBA, Thursday, isn't it game 3 of the Stanley Cup?
That's right.
So they are kind of cognizant of each other's finals.
First time Stanley Cup that I remember at least being drawn out like this. In years past, they tend to get after it a lot quicker than the NBA finals.
Well, they'll start series, like if they're both available, they'll start them. They don't usually wait, right? Like these guys do.
Right, no. In past in hockey, it would be like 1 day in between home games, 2 days for travel, which seems reasonable.
I'm just saying in the earlier series, like round 1, if both teams were ready for round 2, they would play that. They wouldn't wait for a set date.
Right.
Like it appears they're doing now.
Yeah, only for the finals. Yeah, that's exactly right. Because remember we were talking about we'd have to wait a week. The finals were set to start on this date.
Right.
So we would have to have waited a week for the finals to start if there have been 2 sweeps. So, no, you're right. It's very odd scheduling.
And, we're talk show hosts, so we're going to stay interested. But honestly, like some of the drama and the impact of Game 2 is lost on me. Because we've had to sit here and wait 3 days for them to resume. And this is a critical game, really, for both teams. I mean, if Miami wins this game, now all of a sudden the underdog looks pretty strong. Whereas if the Nuggets were to win and they're 2.5-point favorites, then they would regain home court advantage. And everybody who thought they were going to win this in a relatively short period of time, that door is open again for that.
That's a very real feeling you bring up, too, of the impact of Game 2 being lost on you, too, because I hate to say this, I love the NBA and I like the finals. I'm watching no matter what, but I got friends that also like the NBA, but they were caught up watching college baseball on Sunday and really weren't that invested in the finals because it had been so long since Game 1. Oh, it's early, it's only Game 2, we'll get back going there. Yeah. So in terms of fan interaction and people watching the games, it's a very real sentiment that you're vocalizing.
I would have to wonder, though, seriously, if we looked at TV ratings, and I don't know if you can find those, but I would imagine that would be not a national trend where college baseball is beating the NBA Finals.
I actually heard that there was games on Saturday that did outdraw viewership in Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Now, I need to confirm that rumor, but that's what I have heard.
I'm going to tell you that if you were looking at me on Zoom or Facebook,
YouTube,
all the other things that we're on that I don't even know.
Twitch.
If you're looking at me, my eyebrow is raised. I don't believe that for a second. Just so you know. We mentioned we're going to talk golf with Jack Sammons. We hope we are definitely going to make golf picks at 10:45 with Mickey Barker and with Johnny Lyon. Johnny Lyon, congratulations. His daughter got married this past weekend, so I'm assuming she's finally off the payroll. He's a very happy guy. And I can't wait to talk to Mickey. I got to play with him at the soft opening of Pine Hill, and wow, does that golf course look great. I mean, it is. There's 7 or 8 holes that are the same that, they've upgraded in the remodel, but there are some holes that are totally beautiful and different. It is really cool. Use of lakes and everything else. We'll talk a little bit about that with Mickey, and then we'll pick the Canadian Open, which certainly doesn't have the field of those designated events. So that gets me back, and we're going to talk about this with Jack Sammons either today or tomorrow. But I have been sitting here racking my brain as to why Jay Monahan in secret would go and make a deal with what he said a year ago was tainted money. With what he said a year ago, have you ever heard a PGA Tour have to apologize for being on a tour, right? For being a part of the PGA. And now all of a sudden that money that was tainted, that came at the hands of those that were the perpetrators in 9/11, now all of a sudden it is acceptable. And you have to say, when you look at him, and he goes, I know people are going to call me a hypocrite. He's either one of the more brave people ever, or he is just a guy that has no choice. That he is in this position and he had no way out. So there are only 2 things that I can think of that brought Jay Monahan and his stewardship of the PGA to this position where they had to merge with LIV and accept money from that PIF fund. Only 2 things. And I don't know which it is or a combination of both. But it is either this new model to compete with LIV with these designated purses, these designated events with purses that were $20 million and $3.6 million to the winner. And how many of them are there? Are there 8 or are there 12? I can't remember.
It's 12,
how many?
right?
12 designated events and then the playoffs, right? Now, FedEx takes care of the $15 million on the FedEx Cup champion. But the purse is 3.6, or the winner is 3.6. The purse is 20 mil. And you're saying how many?
There's 17 designated events.
17. So maybe in their rush to get to that number of events, to keep the top 70 players from bolting, maybe they went too far. Maybe they over-exceeded what they could afford. And therefore, were put in a position where if this kept up, they would not be able to stay in business. The financial model wasn't going to work in the long run. Maybe that's one thing. Maybe another thing, and I think this more likely, is that, and this could be true of both sides, first of all, and this wouldn't bother the Saudis, but the lawyer fees, the legal fees that were going to be spent in this long process of trying to figure out who's right and who's wrong. Is there a monopoly? Is there not a monopoly? Is LIV right? Is the PGA right? In all of this discovery, besides the expense, but more importantly, in this discovery, what would they find? What would they find in the books of the PGA Tour? Maybe involving charities. What would they find in terms of the way they set things up, in terms of monopoly, which is what LIV was saying? What would we find, if you're on the other side, with the Saudis, of what they've done? If you're going through discovery and you've got to open up books, there's a lot of things people don't want people to know. And that to me is probably the more reasonable explanation as to why all of a sudden, in secret, 7 weeks ago, the PIF founder, or I shouldn't say founder, the guy that runs the PIF fund, who's now the chair of the board, and the commissioner, Jay Monahan, got together and started negotiating. This was a 7-week process that nobody knew about. And this was, Jeff Ogilvy said this. By the way, the meeting in Canada with the players was very, very heated. And I think some have asked for Monahan's ouster. I wouldn't be surprised if he does not survive all of this. But Ogilvy said he had the sense, maybe CNBC found this out through something. Remember, they made the deal on when they would make the release. But this was prematurely announced because they have really not gotten down to all of the specifics. And as we said, nothing's set in concrete. This is more a memo of understanding than anything else. And as far as with the meeting with the players and the commissioner, there was nothing really that specific that was said. So this was done before everybody had everything nailed down. And now you got a lot of hurt feelings. I'll tell you the guys that really got the raw end of this deal. They are Tiger Woods, who was offered almost $1 billion, could have taken that money, and guess what? He'd be back. They were Hideki Matsuyama. He was offered $300 million. He could have taken that money. Guess what? He would be back. And there is Rory McIlroy, who not only turned down what probably would have been big money. I don't know if he ever got an offer because he was pretty much vocal. But he's the guy that stood up for Monahan and everybody else talking about this being tainted, which is, by the way, no longer tainted. And this isn't the first National League that has done business with people that are questionable. I mean, you look at the NBA. What's the percentage of revenues they get from China? The same China, by the way, that just took a ship and went right at one of the American destroyers near Taiwan. This is the same one that they took a fighter airplane and went right into the airspace of one of our fighter airplanes.
I'll give you another one. Mickey Arison owns Carnival Cruise Line, I believe, and he took a bunch of money from the Saudis during the COVID pandemic because of how much money he was losing in the cruise industry. And he still owns the Miami Heat.
Right. Look at FIFA. Where was the World Cup?
They went
last
to Saudi
year.
Arabia,
right,
and played it in November.
You know what? We're all doing business, and there was a question that was, I think it was the Commercial Appeal that reached out to FedEx on a comment on the merger. And there was none that was given yet. And I'll be interested in watching. But guess what? FedEx does business in Saudi Arabia. They do business in China. Business, I guess, is business. It appears, by the way, we'll have to get our friend Jack Sammons on tomorrow, on Thursday, because he's got a legit excuse, believe me, and we'll get with him. But I would love his take, because again, the first thing you start to think about after your initial shocking reaction to this merger is, well, what's going to happen to Memphis now? If there's 20 events on this new world tour. And, they may be keeping their tours separate. And that would make for a three-way playoff at the end. That might be interesting.
That's what I think. I don't know why I think that. There's no indication of that, but just for some reason, that's what I feel like they would do.
We don't have anything concrete. We don't know if they're going to be 72-hole competitions, 54. Are the team competitions still in? Is the payroll going up? Is there going to be even more money? Let's just say, if a player got reinstated that took the money from the Live Tour, would they have to pay their way back in with some money that they took from the Live Tour? Will there be bonuses for those that were loyal and give them some of the money that those guys got? Who knows? We don't know what the framework's going to be, and neither does the commissioner, or he wasn't sharing in that meeting with the players. Somebody got up, called him a hypocrite, and told him to resign, and there was a standing ovation by the other players in the room. Monahan has a big problem on his hands.
There's no way he keeps his job. There's just no way.
But I'm worried about this tournament.
No kidding.
Because if the Saudis have that much money, and they do, it's like from their oil they bring in $1.2 billion per day.
So people said that the Live Tour wasn't really successful, and I guess from like a traditional rating standpoint, it wasn't. But that's not how they determine success. They have so much money they could just do whatever they want.
Well, a good friend of mine who knows these things told me that when Forbes does the valuation of the richest people in the world, they don't even quantify how much the Saudi family is worth, the royal family, because it's not billions, it's trillions. 1.2 billion every day comes in from the one source of business. So they don't have a problem with money. And so if they were saying, well, FedEx is a nice thing to have, but we don't need it. And if, we don't want to play in Memphis, we're not playing in Memphis. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I am saying that's a possibility. And if public opinion is so down on these guys, FedEx has already made cuts. They could say it's just not worth it to spend $100 million with these guys and get negative publicity. I'm not saying that's going to happen either. I'm just throwing out things that make me worry because I have loved this tournament for a long, long time. I think there have already been some people who've said, I'm sending my money straight to St. Jude. I'm not supporting this anymore. And so who knows what the future is, and that's why it's going to be important to talk with the general chair of this tournament, and that is Jack Salmon. So we will get with him tomorrow. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studio. Come out and play. That's the new sale through June 25th. School's out. Time to get out of the house. Enjoy your backyard with a new pool, a new spa, maybe some patio furniture, all kinds of incentives, lots of $1,000 off on furniture or spas. All you got to do is head to I-40 and Whidden Road, and during this Come Out and Play sale, you get special financing that's available. And our title sponsors, Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, where, by the way, it's simple. You get paid to do business with them. If you're in the market for a Genesis G70, the little sedan, the rocket ship I call it, if you go in, ask for Vinny Gerard right at the corner of Highway 78, that's Lamar, and Craft Road, first exit in Mississippi, turn left. Go see Vinny Gerard, say you heard it from Wolo. I want to do business with you and get the G70. You get a $1,000 rebate. That's simple at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Holy moly, I just saw this. I got the second pick in this thing?
That's right.
I'm down to third?
That's right. But you'll see the discrepancy with my amount of money, so it's still a hefty lead on me.
Well, I am now like $1 3/4 million behind Johnny.
That's right. Mickey and Johnny had big
Do you
weeks.
realize if Denny McCarthy had won that, he would have gotten double? He would have gotten double money because he was a shock at that. Mm-hmm. He's no longer eligible as a shock pick.
He's not.
He's above the top 50 now. Man. What did I once had like a $9 million lead, didn't I?
Oh, yeah. But I tell you what, I mean, you get enough winners, you can rack up some money. Like even top 10s aren't even good enough when you get some of these millions of dollar purses at the top of the list. And the Memorial tournament gives away a lot of money.
Wait till that money comes in now next year.
That's right.
Be even bigger swings. I started this yesterday. I kind of want to go over it because so many people are interested in what the Tigers are doing. And they did secure the forward, who's 6'6", but a great rebounder, from St. John's. Now, he started his career, he was at DePaul, transferred to St. John's, is a grad transfer, so he can transfer again. 6'6", averaged 13 points and almost 7 rebounds a game in the Big East last year, which is a tough league. Tigers get him over Kentucky, UConn, Xavier, Kansas State. So a lot of good schools really wanted this guy. I kind of have this philosophy that I've learned from other coaches. Most of the time, and I'm not saying that's the case with this kid, most of the time, though, unless it's a guy that was going to be in the NBA draft who then opts out, or it's a guy who might be a late grad transfer, which allows him into the portal again, just sort of the way David Jones was. For the most part, you get somebody this late in the portal, they're an average player. They're going to be Keontae Kennedy. They're going to be McCadden. they're going to be Franklin, DeMarie Franklin. I don't think they're going to be great players. They're not going to be that Avery Bradley. They're not going to be Khalif Battle. They're just not going to be that good.
Well, that's a really good comparison you made to Keontae Kennedy, another player a lot of teams wanted that was a late in the portal guy last year. And so, yeah, I think that's a great comparison.
And I'm not
you.
saying Keontae Kennedy is a good player. He's just not a great player.
Right.
He's not an impact player.
Exactly.
He's a rotational player.
Role guy.
And that's the kind of guys I think you get this late unless there's some crazy circumstance to it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So we'll see about David Jones. And, it brings up some interesting combinations. Like, is Jalen Young, who's not here yet, is he going to be the point guard? Will they go with Caleb Mills there? If Mikey Williams comes, could he play the point guard, or is he a shooting guard? That's interesting. I don't know. As wing players, you've got Carl Sharonfont, Ashton Hardaway, Jaden Hardaway. You've got depth there. That's for sure. Good college players. Small forward, is that going to be T. Leonard? I think they call him Tiafale, but I think he just goes by T. Is it J.J. Taylor? Is that freshman going to emerge? Is it David Jones? Is the power forward going to be DeAndre Williams? If he doesn't make it, would it be Chandler Lawson? Who's your center? Is it Jonathan Pierre? Is it Nick Jourdain? Is it Malcolm Dandridge? If you get all these guys, and by the way, I've just called out 14 guys, that means one of the Hardaways is going to be a walk-on. That'll play. But it does say if you get Williams and Mikey, both Williams, Mikey and DeAndre, you got a pretty deep team. And I think that with DeAndre is a NCAA tournament team.
Which son do you make a walk on? The one that has no experience or the one that has...
It really doesn't matter.
I guess not.
Because the tuition is coming from the same pocket.
Well, that's probably a good point.
I don't know.
No, neither do I.
Because really and truly...
the younger one is more highly touted as a player, right?
And the younger one would get a scholarship anywhere right now.
Right.
I don't know that Jaden Hardaway would have. I think Jaden Hardaway deserves a scholarship, though.
Good player.
He's played. He played at almost every game last year.
Yeah.
Never hurt you. So, anyway, just some summertime musing. And, again, we will make it the best effort we can to get Jack Sammons on the air to discuss this and the future of the FedEx St. Jude Invitational. We will do that tomorrow. So, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we will be joined by Pete Pranica. We'll talk more about this long, stretched-out NBA championship. Don't forget Conway. Don't forget your cooling system because it's getting hot. It's been in the 90s just about every day. Yesterday was so hot. I did a little yard work. Oh, my God, I was sweating like crazy. But I walked into my house. My house has had the tune-up. I spent the $69 for that tune-up that you get. 16 points of tuning everything up inside, getting everything outside cleaned up. I got 2 units, so both those units get cleaned up. $69, I know my system's not going to break down. I know my MLGW bill will be efficient, fair, because my system is efficient, and I know my system now will last longer if it stays in tune. All you got to do is call 384-3511. That's the number to stay cool this summer. That's the number for Conway. Back with Pete Pranica in just a minute.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's
what to do. We're here for you.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Saturday, June 10th, the Breakers take on your Showboats for a Boats Luau.
We can't wait to have you for the USFL.
Bring the whole family to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Make sure to wear Showboats blue and get a free rally towel while supplies last.
Into the end zone, wide open, touchdown!
Fantastic seats get you right next to the action for just $10.
And the Showboats chug right back into this game.
Buy your tickets today at theusfl.com.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Oh, after a hot day on the golf course, hope many of you are getting out to Miramichi, say, or the public courses, and Mickey Barker's going to talk about that in the next segment. I hope when you get home you want to refresh yourself with something local, something fantastic, and plenty of products to choose from. I'm talking Grind City, by the way, with the new logo that is really clean and cool, just like their products. I start with what the doctor ordered, the Poppy's Pilsner. Maybe you would like the Godhopper. That's that pale ale that has been a big, big mainstay for Grind City. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. There's the answer to Blue Moon. It's the Belgian-style wheat ale. You can't lose. Not with Grind City Brewing. And if you're looking for a cool place to go visit, go see the brewery just north of downtown, right on the river. You can't help but love that big green space they got out in front and inside. It's a really cool place. Go check out Grind City Brewing. We check out the NBA. It's been so long, it seems, since Game 2. Game 3 is tonight. Are you surprised we're tied here, Mr. Pranica, voice on TV of your Grizz?
No. I think, Miami has kind of gone to the place where San Antonio was. Don't bet against San Antonio. Don't bet against Miami. Look, Denver's the better team. Denver built a 15-point lead, blew a 15-point lead, still nearly had an opportunity to get that game to overtime. Am I surprised? No. When you have Jimmy Butler, and certainly Miami is talented, and you're seeing Duncan Robinson, who for most of the season was buried on the bench, now playing a pivotal role for them. And Eric Spoelstra is an excellent coach, and the move to bring Kevin Love into the starting lineup obviously paid dividends. So am I surprised? No, but I saw a note today that the last 5 teams that had home court advantage and split their first 2, the last 5 that were 1-1 and had home court advantage went on to win the finals anyway.
Interesting. Yeah, you mentioned the Spurs, and that's, kind of like Miami. And I was reading about this, the Heat culture. All began with Pat Riley, who's now, by the way, 78 years old and still looks like, 65, 60? Maybe. Looks fantastic.
Yes, he does. He's well preserved.
This is a Pete Pranica style fact that I will give you. You would have worked this into the broadcast, I'm 100% certain. Out of the last 52 NBA finals, Riley has been in 19 of them, either as a player, a coach, or an executive. That, by the way, I did the math with my phone. That's almost 37% of the time since Riley's been around that his teams have been in the NBA Finals. That's incredible.
It's incredible. It also means you don't make dinner reservations with Pat Riley in the month of June because he's going to be busy. Yeah, he has a tremendous record. He has an identity that he had as a player, as a coach. We're going to be tough. We're going to be physical. And the Miami Heat, no matter who is wearing their uniform, they're always going to, you're in for a rough night. They're going to be physical. They're going to be tough. They're going to be well coached. They perennially lead the league in charges taken. It's not just because Kyle Lowry is there now. I mean, they have always done this. And they're one of the few, if not the only team, that they actually put the number of charges each player takes in their daily game notes. So that's how important it is to them. That's how important a metric it is to prove how tough they are, how tough-minded they are. And that's part of Heat culture, which I think I said in one of our earlier visits. A lot of times people kind of, Heat culture, and you roll your eyes. Well, you know what? It works. And, an 8 seed to get to the NBA Finals, it just doesn't happen very often.
52 years, 37% of the time they're in the finals. That says a lot to me. But Denver's the 2.5-point favorite. So Miami went to the zone defense a lot. They tried to take the passing lanes away from Jokic. That was their biggest adjustment. What kind of adjustment now does Denver make for Game 3?
I think there has to be a little bit better ball movement and body movement. I mean, you can't be stagnant against the zone. It'll be interesting to see if the Heat continue to put Jimmy Butler on Jamal Murray, and then it's incumbent upon Murray to be very aggressive offensively, so that maybe you take a little bit away of a little bit of Butler's legs away when you get into the fourth quarter. Michael Porter Jr. also has to make shots. I think that this also has to be. When you look at what happened in Game 2, Miami was mentally tougher. And I think, and Michael Malone alluded to this, I think in some of his comments to the media, that maybe his guys got a little fat and happy after being up 1-0, and then you're up 15, and all of a sudden people are thinking, like, well, series over, sweep. And Miami is just, it's part of that Heat culture. They're just very, very tough-minded. They figured out a way. Jokic goes for 41, I think, and Jokic scoring 40 is not a barometer of success for them. So I think Michael Porter Jr. has to play a lot better, and I think Jamal Murray has to be aggressive offensively and try to work into Jimmy Butler's legs.
I'm with you. Porter in particular, very disappointing so far. He's their the third best player, whereas with Miami, I wouldn't say Duncan Robinson is the third best player. He's only playing really because Hero is hurt. And this guy, not only we know him as a catch and shoot guy, but he can go to the hole. He's been the biggest difference so far in keeping Miami in the series.
Yeah, and I think that this is a testament to his, maybe his mental toughness, or the fact that they have leaned on him to diversify his game. Don't stand out at the three-point line. The opponent's always going to honor that three-point shot. Pump fake, put the ball on the floor, go to the rim. Why not? Give yourself an opportunity to be a multi-dimensional player rather than just kind of a one-note player. And his ability and willingness to do that has been big for Miami, without a doubt.
All right, let me switch gears a little bit to the Grizz, and you're the perfect person to ask this question of Triple J on a podcast. Defending John Morant, by the way, very heartily. I'll get to that in a second, but he's been named to play for the USA FIBA World Cup team this summer, which, by the way, is a qualifying event for the 2024 Olympics in Paris. So a big honor for Triple J, and I started thinking about this. I know the Gasol brothers played for Spain in international competitions. I'm not sure. Has there ever been a Grizz wearing a U.S. uniform in international competition at this kind of level?
I think somebody pointed out Rudy Gay did.
Really? I don't remember that.
I would have to go back and look. I know Mike Conley had been invited to some camps, but didn't make it all the way through. Top of my head, it's whatever it is, it's a very short list. So this is really, really a great honor for him, and it'd really be cool to see him playing for Team USA in Paris.
Oh, yeah. even if he's a rotation guy, it's quite the honor, and they got to win there in order to qualify for the Olympics. I can't remember. It's pretty well stacked where they will, but if they fell on their face, I think they could be out. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm a little shy on my FIBA qualification rules as far as who gets in, but I don't see the USA falling on their face. Not with the people they have running the organization.
I'm with you. And then there was the discussion about Ja and how the team, in particular, Jaren Jackson Jr. making the comment that he's my brother. I'm sticking with him all the way. And I don't know that we've talked since the commission made his comment about we're not going to say anything until after the series, and we did find additional information. What was your take on the commissioner's comments pertaining to Ja?
It did sound a little ominous because the previous comments from Adam Silver was that he was shocked that there was another incident, and now you find additional information. You don't know if that information mitigates the earlier shock or if it enhances it, so to speak. So, I understand where Adam Silver is coming from, that you're not going to announce the suspension, which is likely to be a major one, that you don't want this to take away from the NBA Finals. And so everybody's kind of on pins and needles. I think it's important that people understand that Jaren is supporting Ja as a friend. He's certainly not condoning the action. And so everybody is in a holding pattern right now. I don't know what additional information came to light when the NBA investigated. It just did sound ominous. Like, well, we found out more. Well, what is that more? We don't know at this point, but it was concerning that you're like, well, we found out more information. You just don't know what that information is.
And what is interesting to me is Adam Silver is a brilliant guy. He's very purposeful. And he could have easily answered that question by saying, you know what? We're almost done with this investigation. I think it'll be done by the end of the playoffs. And that's when we'll make our comment. But he didn't. He goes, we know, but we're not saying. We found additional information, but you're going to have to wait until after the series, which means now we're speculating all the way for the next week or two, when it could have been, okay, he doesn't, he could have shoved it aside, and he did not. That was very odd to me.
Yeah, like I said, if they've made a decision, with Adam Silver and Joe Dumars being involved in this, if they've made a decision, they also made a decision. Look, we're not going to put this in the middle of the NBA Finals, which is our showcase event, and where television ratings for this postseason have been off the charts good. So it's a story that they certainly don't want to put front and center when you have what very well could be a compelling NBA Finals, given the fact that we're 1-1 right now.
Well, crazy, and they're stretching this thing out. Now we got to wait. We got 2 games in 3 days, right? And then we got to wait all the way to Monday for Game 5.
Yeah,
We'll be celebrating July 4th when this thing's over.
Building suspense, nothing like it.
No doubt about it. Enjoy. You are a member of TPC Southwind, so give me what you think is the buzz around your club pertaining to yesterday's merger.
I've been out of town, so I don't know, and the course is closed now for airification, so haven't had a chance. I've been reading a lot of the media. It's good news, I think, for the FedEx St. Jude. And I know because having talked with people at Alsac St. Jude and talking with people at the club and involved with the tournament, that there was great concern. When the live players broke off, I think I don't like the way that it was handled. I don't like the fact that it basically Saudi money is now running the PGA Tour. And how it was rolled out, how it was announced, it was not good. My only concern with this is if it's good for the FedEx St. Jude Classic, that it's good for the city of Memphis, but I'm not thrilled with the way that it was handled. I think the way Jay Monahan basically publicly shamed guys who went to live about 9/11, and then now, okay, we're going to let the Saudis take this over. It just really rings very strange and kind of a bitter taste.
No question. And who knows how it'll affect the FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Pete Pranica, thank you much. We may be talking championship game when we speak next week.
Could be. Look forward to it.
Me too. Thank you. That is Pete Pranica, the TV voice of the Grizzlies. He's brought to you by Dinstall's, and we got a new Summer Sizzler special, and this is a great one. It's the award-winning chocolate pecan fudge. You know that was voted number 1 in America? That's serious. Number 1 in America, their chocolate pecan fudge. It's great for vacation travel, beautiful summertime gift. Everybody will love you when you bring that. Or, how about this? You can top off your ice cream sundae with some of that fudge. Melt it. Oh, my God, is that good. And also, June is the kickoff for the chocolate-covered raspberries. Nobody covers fruit. Not like Dinstall's, where they take a fondant that nobody knows what's in it except that it's great. And then they enrobe all this stuff with the rich chocolate milk from Dinstall's. So you got the chocolate-covered raspberries, which, by the way, are tart, fresh raspberries, only the best. Then there's strawberries. There's pineapple. They got them all this week. Nobody dips them like Dinstall's, where they make it on Pleasant View, my neck of the woods, Laurelwood. There's Collierville, Germantown, and the cool little store downtown. That's the way they do it at Dinstall's. They dip it like nobody else. We take a break. When we come back, real quick, do you know for the first time since 2008, there is a guy hitting 400?
I do know that.
In Major League Baseball, through 62 games.
Luis Arias.
Luis Arias had 2 hits last night, hitting .401. Hey, the Marlins are 6 games over 500. They're in second place in the East behind Atlanta. That's incredible. Here's one more little quick thing. First of all, the French Open. You can't find the thing. It's on the tennis channel. Why? How did it not? What happened to ESPN?
I don't know. I was thinking the same thing when I was watching on the tennis channel.
Find the dang thing.
Yeah, you're right.
And Djokovic made the semifinals. He's going to play probably Carlos Alcaraz, the number 1 player in the world. 45th semifinal in a slam for the Joker. We take a quick break. When we come back, we make golf picks with Mickey and with Johnny, who's now our leader. That comes your way in a second.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
A new era in public safety begins with you. Be the change you want to see. Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo Saturday, June 10th, 2023 from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We'll be taking applications, performing basic testing, and interviewing candidates on site. Free parking will be located at Poplar Avenue and Front Street. Benefits include a $15,000 sign-on bonus, up to $10,000 relocation assistance. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
Join the NBA Finals action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can place a $5 bet and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, all customers can take a shot at bigger payouts with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code COLIN. New customers can place a $5 bet and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's code COLIN. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelplinema.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Kansas, call 800-522-4700. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt-in and 10-plus leg required for 100% boost. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Okay, I'll flip you for it.
Nope.
Only one of us can be the guy that's overly obsessed with Central Barbecue.
Me? No one loves Central Barbecue more than me.
No, that's me. I've been hawking Central Barbecue for years, so heads or tails?
Not fair. Look, I love every single thing on the Central Barbecue menu.
Oh, you do not?
I do so. Every single thing.
What about the vegan options? You love those?
I don't love the idea of eating the vegan option at Central Barbecue, but I do love that they have the items available for those that do.
All right, I got to give it to you. That was a pretty good dodge.
Because I love Central Barbecue.
We've run out of time for the coin toss.
Yes.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I've gone from first the whole season, now to third. Johnny Lyon's been on a picking streak.
Dave, you're still beating the crap out of me. I mean, I got to be honest with you.
That's like big brother, little brother. Stepping on you all the time. Mickey Barker's in second. We'll talk with both these guys a little bit before we make our picks. Johnny, I'm going to start with you. Your reaction to the shock yesterday of the LIV PGA Tour merger. You've been a LIV guy the whole time. What's your thoughts?
Jay Monahan totally shocked the world. And everybody talked about, the number one conversation in the golf world is what made him change his mind and go 360. But I do think it's better for the game of golf to get all the best players playing and work out their problems and put their money together. What do you think?
Well, I want to know more. I want to know why Jay Monahan had to make that decision. I said a little earlier, either elevating 17 events to $20 million purses wasn't going to work in the long run without more money, or they did not want to see any kind of their problems legally when Discovery came out, looking at books. Who knows what they might have found, and maybe that worried both the guy that heads the PIF fund, Yasser, or maybe it was real worrisome for the commissioner. Let's get Mickey Barker, who's the head of all of Memphis Public Golf in. You're not a LIV guy. You were like me. What's your thought process on this bombshell?
Just shocked. Really never saw this coming. I really don't know how to answer on this subject. I guess, as Johnny says, eventually it will be good to have all the best players in the world combined, but I've thought the PGA Tour has been fantastic this year without those guys. So, I didn't think it was a problem right now, but I guess we'll see what happens.
Well, what we don't know is we don't know what's the new format going to be. Is it going to be 54 holes, 72 holes? Is there team stuff? What's the avenue to get these guys back when they want to reapply for membership? Will they have to pay a big fine like the money they took in? Will there be a bonus for those that stayed, like Rory, who, he's the biggest loser. So is Matsuyama. Turned down $300 million he could have taken, Hideki Matsuyama, and he didn't. And now all these guys can come back. Well, we're going to have to wait and see on that. On a more pleasant note, Mickey Barker, whose legacy, by the way, is set forever. Under his reign, what has happened with public golf is absolutely amazing, as is your new golf course right there at Norris Road and 240. The new Pine Hill, I got to play with him. We played at Shambles, so I got to play off of his drives. It came out better than I ever envisioned it would. What is your take on it?
It really is. It is a lot of fun to play. The layout that Mark Messier designed for us is just a really fun and challenging layout. I thought it played very well. There's some short holes that are drivable. You can make a lot of birdies, and there's some long holes that are that are very difficult, as we all found out on Friday.
That's right. Like number 9. What a tough hole that can be. Unless you're Penny Hardaway, who hit a 355-yard drive on that hole, by the way, we should point out.
Makes it a little bit easier then.
Amazing, but beautiful. Is that, by the way, the same architect that is doing Audubon?
No, Bill Bergen Design is doing Audubon. Bill Bergen, if most are familiar with Chickasaw Country Club, he did the redesign there. So he's doing Audubon and several other courses around the state of Tennessee.
Wow. Okay. And one last thing on Pine Hill, because everybody wants to play this thing now. When's it opening?
June 24th.
Oh, you got
Saturday,
a date?
June 24th.
Oh,
yes.
we break a story here today. June 24th, the Great Pine Hill, the new Pine Hill, will open. All right, Johnny Lyon, just so you know, you cannot pick Denny McCarthy anymore. You almost got double points out of that, double money, but he's now in
Poor Denny, yeah. He sure was looking good to win that
tournament. He was. I just the last.
I have to say real quick, like that, Mickey Barker, you have certainly done a great job with public golf in the city of Memphis. As I've known Dub Bowie and Fletcher Couch and a lot of your predecessors, you have changed the look of Memphis golf for sure.
No doubt.
Well, I appreciate that, Johnny. Unfortunately, fortunately, we've got an administration, the mayor, Mayor Strickland, the city council, the current city council. They are fully behind golf, and I give all the credit to them. Without them, none of this would be happening. So I appreciate everything that they've given us over these past few years.
All right, we got the Canadian Open. We got to get these things in for sure. And J-Mo, as usual, you get to start.
To start, I think I have to take Rory this week. I don't think there's any way around taking Rory.
You know, I'm thinking, I like Tyrell Hatton here. I like Justin Rose here. But I think I might have a theme going here. I'm going to go Canadian. I'm going to go, because all the crowd's going to be for him. It may get to him, but I'm going to take a chance here. And I'm going to go all the way down to the number 29 player in the world. I'm going Corey Connors.
Very good pick, Dave. Very good pick. I think Sam Burns is playing well.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with Sam.
And the guy who's got $1 million lead on you, $1.8 million on me, and he's doubled J-Mo. He's got $14,292,000. Johnny, who's your top pick?
I'm going to take Tyrell Hatton.
Okay. Tyrell Hatton. Another good pick, and this guy's due. He is always in every tournament he plays, it seems to me.
He doesn't get too mad at himself. Yeah.
J-Mo.
I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Corey Connors, Sam Burns, Tyrell Hatton, and Rory are gone.
Oh, man. Oh, this makes it tough for me. I think I'm going to take Justin Rose this week, though. Been playing some good golf.
Of course you will. Matthew Fitzpatrick. I don't trust him. I'm going all underdogs here. So I'm going to go with Thigala. Sahith Thigala.
That's who I was debating with. Oh, man. Good pick.
Mickey.
That was my next pick as well. So I'm going to go the guy you don't trust, Matthew Fitzpatrick.
He's the number 8 player in the world. He should be better than he's been, honestly. Johnny.
I'm going to take everybody's favorite Jewish Korean golfer, David Lipsky.
Wow. David Lipsky, by the way, is I didn't realize. I thought he was like 22 years old or something coming up. Do you know he's in his 30s?
Playing some great golf.
He is.
He's a unique golfer there.
All right, so that gets us to our shock 51 or more. Go ahead, J-Mo.
Take Michael Kim this week, 133.
Okay, that's a good pick. I'm going a little different here because, I'm even going to let Mickey know. Matt Kuchar is 51. You can get him. I should take him. But I'm really toying with Ludwig Aberg. Do you know who Ludwig Aberg is?
I do. He has actually played very well this year.
He's the NCAA champion. This would be like a Rose Zhang story.
Right.
From champ to pro debut and win. I don't think he's going to win. You know what? Heck, I'm not giving you Matt Kuchar. I'm taking him. I've talked myself out of it.
Good choice. I'm going to go with Tennessee guy Keith Mitchell. Should play well this week.
I thought about him long and hard, really. All right, Mr.
Okay.
Savant, tell us who you going with.
Really, I'm going to take a guy that no one's ever picked, Carson Young.
Not only have we
Number
not picked him,
275.
I'm not sure who he is. Who is Carson Young?
I was debating to take him, too.
Who is he? I thought I was going to surprise you all with Aberg.
Well,
who is Carson Young?
They see C. Young, and they think it's Cam Young.
Right.
But there's two C. Youngs out there.
There's a lot of Youngs and Kims.
I think he's been playing well. It's like 3 starts he's had in the top 20 or something like that, and he's only made 5 total starts.
I've never heard of the guy.
Yeah, he's very young.
Where's he
I
from?
think. I'm not sure.
Johnny, you know where he's from? Or Mickey?
No idea.
From Washington.
Look, if Barker doesn't know who he is, and I don't know who he is,
277.
He can't be any good.
277 rank.
277. Mickey, if this dude finishes in the top 25, you're just too much. You're just too much. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it so much, and we'll do it again next week, and we'll have the U.S. Open next week, which means the live guys who are very much alive now are really alive next week.
Sounds great.
Thank you, Wolo.
Thank you, guys.
Say, congratulations to my daughter.
Oh yeah,
Married,
I meant to say that to you. What is it?
Married Blake Jaros. Yeah.
So she's now
Great
Laura
guy.
Lyon Giroux? That sounds like
Jaros.
Jarrow?
Jaros.
Ah, Jaros. Okay. Congrats.
Yeah, it's a great wedding. Great wedding.
Congrats, Johnny.
Yep.
Thank you,
you,
Mickey.
guys.
Doing a great job, Mickey. Thank you, Wolo. Doing a good job, too.
Thank you.
See everybody.
Bye-bye. And that'll do it for the golf picks tomorrow. We hope to have Jack Sammons on. We'll have Russell Copeland on as well. And probably another surprise or two. That does it for us on this Wednesday. Don't go anywhere. Johnny Radio is right around the corner. Have a great day, everybody.